about at 56 minutes.
Please.
How do you guys feel about the desert boot? Do you guys have a history with the desert boot? Did you guys try it before?
Yes. So I mean, I
can hear you. Just talk.
the desert boot was my like first boot. I got like I got like a cheapo one from like DHL, or not DHL, Discount Shoe Warehouse, DSW.
Isn't DHL the delivery service?
Yeah, that's international shipping. So I got some like DSW, like DSW cheapo Chukkas, because I was into the vintage look at the time, and I heard that like, the Clark's Desert Boot, the design has not changed since 1950, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. I'll just wear those. But I didn't. I got the cheaper version of Clark's. And I mean, I wore those for years, and then I did not get any other. I replaced them eventually with a pair of Chippewas, which I still have. And I didn't wear Chukka boots for years until a friend of a friend gave me a pair of Alan Edmonds Mojave, which are their unlined Chukka boot, and people constantly mistake them for Alden's, so I'm pretty happy with those.
Good mistake to make.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I wear those things all the time. They're like one of my most popular pairs of shoes that I own. And it's like they're like just as easy to put on as loafers. So it's like they're kind of like, those are kind of my like go-to, like just quickly running out of the house shoe.
Please.
Yeah. I know MJ has some.
Has which ones?
You have a Clark Desert Boots, right, or whatever?
No.
Oh, you don't. You don't. That's right.
Not yet.
Never mind. I take it back. Kiyoshi, as our resident guy, hashtag menswear blogger guy who was there at the beginning, did you ever do like the Clark's Desert Boot heritage, like salvage denim kind of thing?
Dude, you know it. So I have a very funny story about the Clark's Desert Boot. So I wore those one day on a bar crawl in Chicago. And the colorway, it was a sand, or like that very, very light tan color. I think I got them at like Nordstrom Rack. It was Clark's with the gum sole. And so I wore them on like this really long bar crawl in downtown Chicago. And the next day, my feet were in pain.
Oh no!
Because there's no like really good arch support in there, and they're not really great for maybe they're great for marching in sand, but not on concrete. Okay. And my feet were just in pain, and I ended up going to the doctor, and she's like, "Yeah, you need to wear shoes with arch support." So she's like, no more desert boots, or unless you put like some insoles or something in there. So yeah, that was an unfortunate lesson learned, but I did like them. I would wear them a lot. I don't currently have a pair. The closest thing I have now is a Chelsea boot in a very similar color that Epaulet did a while back, and I like them, but I also threw an insole in there to be able to wear them for more than a couple hours while standing up. But yeah, I like them a lot. I feel like if you wear jeans or chinos a lot, they're a very easy shoe purchase that's not too terribly expensive. I do think there are like a nicer version would be like Asterflex, which is it's a little bit more expensive, but I think it's a nicer boot, a little nicer quality and build. But as far as like budget shoe wear goes, I think it's probably a really good piece.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's a reason it's like part of the basic bastard uniform. Like it's one of the most recommended shoes on fucking Reddit. I don't know if it still is, but.
The thing is, I don't think I see this much anymore. So the funny thing is, one of the content things that my work does, the character puts on kill shots, and I was like, hey, I thought that was kind of fun. But yeah, I think they are. I think it's the safer basic bastard thing because I think that the more like the more common one that I think might be more versatile and more sleek is to just wear like a white sneaker, like any variation of white sneaker. But like the desert boot
Right.
kind of
right.
has it. Yeah, again, like Jeremy says here, it's the non-offensive. It's like
Yeah.
it's dressed up, but not really. There's no edge to it at all.
Mhm.
You know. But yeah, I have a couple of funny stories with the desert boot that I will tell you guys right now. Obviously.
Yeah, I've
Um,
always been interested in desert boots, I suppose, but just never
Oh,
got around to it. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Aldous
I didn't,
Chukka.
I didn't hear you
Hold on,
join in.
hold on.
Welcome.
Get
Yeah,
out
thank
of the
you.
box.
Yeah, always kind of. I guess I've been interested in desert boots, but like what you were saying, it's just kind of vanilla, I suppose. And also shoes in general, I've been putting those in the back burner. As you know, I still don't own fucking penny loafers, so the proper ones
lost.
anyway. So
yeah, I don't know how I
yeah.
could live with just wearing. What? Oh,
You just got to get
sorry.
used to. You just got to get used to yourself. You just got to get used to even roasting you on not having penny loafers, I guess, on having to wear the same fucking sneakers or like lace ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get them. I'll get them eventually. It's. But, you
I
know,
mean, if you could find them on eBay, again, it's the Alan Edmonds Mojave, which apparently look identical to an Alden unlined Chukka boot.
right.
I don't know if they. I don't think that they still sell that style, but you might be able to get it on eBay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It-
yeah. I was just gonna say.
It's not hard for me to start buying them. It's just. Yeah, I don't know.
No, yeah, I'm just.
Kinda like-
Hey, I'm giving out advice to everybody. Everybody, listen to me.
Yeah.
The Alan
Nice.
Edmonds Mojave. They look
Yeah,
like.
I can't imagine like
Yep.
what shoes do you currently have?
You
All
got
this?
it.
Do you have like
waistcoat. You got it, Ivan.
you have like a suede? You have a suede pair of like Bucks or Derbies, right?
Yeah,
And you
suede
have-
like off-white bucks, bleachers, black and brown Oxfords, boat shoes, and sneakers. Did I mention
Oh,
the? Yeah.
I'm also going to say that I only like desert boots and suede. I don't
Yeah,
think
yes.
I think that might be like a given, but I hate how they
Yeah.
look in just regular leather.
Yeah. I was gonna say yeah. I can't imagine having only lace ups as like my only shoes, especially ones that are like kind of like because rounded, right? Because like desert boots are rounded.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not a huge fan of rounded shoes. But anyway, so here's my thing with desert boots. So obviously, I mean, as you guys know, I wasn't super into hashtag menswear. Like I mean, I was, but like I didn't really know it existed, right? I kind of saw like trickling down through like fandom stuff on my Tumblr. So when I got to college, I kind of started seeing like a couple of guys wearing like desert boots, right? I don't know if they were the hashtag menswear, if they were on MFA. Well, it was one of those things like we've talked about where like, guys kind of saw it as like a good like shoe to like wear, right? Like it's professional. You wear it with chinos, rolled up denims. It's fine. But most of my friends, as you guys know, are pretty nerdy, and so they wore like the same sneakers all the time. They wore like athletic shoes and not the good kind, you know. So yeah, I saw some guys wearing like I didn't know what they were called because like they don't look like because in my head boots were like work boots, right? Or like
Mm.
or like steel toe boots or whatever. Like what are those like suede? Like they look like derbies, but they're a little bit higher. What is that? They're like got kind of like got a weird like lace. You got like this weird sole to them. What the hell's going on? And I remember the first shoe I bought was I was at Zara and they had suede bleachers. And I bought those. I begged my mom. That was like my first like when I was like,
I
Mom, you
begged
gotta
my
buy
mother.
these shoes. And they were like $80 at Zara, whatever, like some cheap shoe. And they were cheap. And I had them for a while. The thing was I bought their smallest size. I think the smallest size was like an 8, and I'm a 7. So
I
it
mean,
just never fit
it's
right.
like if I'm recalling them, they weren't like a bad shape. I mean,
No, yeah, they were fine. They lasted for quite a while. I think I just ended up giving them away, or I gave them to like Jay or Jeremiah or somebody.
yeah, because you were still wearing them like 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
no, not 2
No?
years ago.
Okay.
No, I got rid of them during when I still worked at Banana Republic. So whenever I quit that, I stopped wearing them.
Okay.
But yeah, so I had those, and they looked good with a lot of different things. The only reason I didn't wear them with vintage a lot was because I heard that derbies are casual, so I got to wear Oxfords, right?
Mhm.
So I had those because like those were cool, and those I did wear with like chinos and jeans. But eventually I forgot who I talked to, but someone's like, "Oh no, they're called the Clark's Desert Boot," and blah blah blah. I'm like, "Oh, okay." So same thing I did. I looked up on eBay, but instead of like, okay, I don't need to buy Clarks. I just looked up Desert Boot or Chukka Boot, and I bought a couple of my size. So I had gray suede from Clarks, and then I had a knockoff brand in black suede, and then they came with red laces.
There you go.
And I wore those, and there are pictures of me wearing them. I learned pretty early on that with my preferred silhouette of pant, they just didn't look right, you
Mhm.
know? So, because they obviously did not work with vintage, right? Because I'm wearing like, horizontal peak lapel, single-breasted jackets with like wide leg pants. They just didn't go. And then when I wore them with like other stuff, like, like they just really didn't go too well with like the gingham shirt and khakis because the only desert boots I had were gray and black suede, and then the brown suede was a derby, right? So yeah, I ended up giving those to my friends or just giving them to charity because I bought them on eBay for like $20. um and yeah, I was like, oh fuck, and then I never thought of it again. I ended up buying like Alan Edmonds loafers, blah blah blah, Oxfords, stuff like that, pennies. I didn't think about the desert boot until
Mhm.
we saw some Drake's lookbooks where Jason Jules is wearing like a desert boot with like gray flannels, wearing it with like denim chinos, and I'm like, oh shit, gotta get me some of those again because like now it looks good. But now I'm like, okay, maybe I should just fucking buy the Asterflex one or whatever one they started they wore, right? No, they didn't. It wasn't even Asterflex because it was the fucking Alden one. It was the Alden ones they were wearing, the unlined suede, like tobacco suede or whatever, uh, desert boot, and those like have a really good like look to them. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys.
It's so. I do like the crepe sole versions better.
You like those better?
Yeah, the older ones I have, they're insanely comfortable. The moment you put your foot in them, you're like, oh wow, I'm gonna wear these all the time.
Yeah.
But it's actually you want to size up a width than what you normally take an Alden, by the way, and they're also a very thin toe bed. So, and the fact that they're unlined, I ran into a very similar problem with like my arches. I know it sounds like I'm whining like an old person, but basically, it being unlined and more unstructured on the uppers, at the end of the day, you don't really get the support you would get even from like a normal penny loafer.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true. That's the issue with them, because it's like
Yeah.
it's the same thing with mine, where it's like if I wear them and like walk around all day, then yeah, it's not
Yeah.
not as much fun.
And since there's no like real room to put like a full insert in there, you can only do a half insert. So then like your heel's very elevated relative to your toes. It's okay. I tend to wear them just like if I'm not gonna be walking around a lot for the day.
Mhm.
But if I was gonna wear them like more than that, or like be on my feet a lot more, they wouldn't be my first choice. Like I'd rather just throw on a pair of loafers. Sounds crazy, but
I mean, that's.
like
I mean, that's.
if I had to walk like a mile, like in downtown Chicago or New York, I would much rather wear a pair of tassel loafers than with no socks than wear those desert boots. But they're nice. I wish there was more room in the toe bed for an insert, because it's like one of the downsides of
Right.
having an unstructured boot like that is you don't really get that ankle
What-
and arch.
What I liked about them is that they have kind of like a low ankle profile, so they definitely do look like a derby, and that's what intrigued me about them because again they look different enough from like the Clarks, and they looked really good with like tailoring with like a chino, especially again look at all the
Yeah.
Drake's pictures, but of course, being in LA, you just don't no one stocks Aldens. And I think there's a couple places that do, but they're more of the heritage ones. So you only got like the commando boot, tanker boot, and stuff like that. And yeah, I never was able to get them, but I knew that like they looked so like what I wanted them to look like, for a good Ivy type of look to them, or a silhouette. I was like, that's it. So yeah, but I ended up buying a pair of Chukka boots, desert boots, whatever you want to call them, when I was in London in 2017. But I didn't get them from Alden. I got them from Loke, and they are currently the only thing from Loke that I own. And I went to the Loke store on German Street because I was like, okay, I used either Styleform or Ask Andy about clothes. I'm like, okay, if I can't get the Alden one because I don't have $450-$500, like what could I get? And someone suggested the Loke Kempton. And there's a whole blog post about this. But yeah, I looked up the Loke Kempton. I'm like, okay, these look pretty dang nice. They have like a day night sole or whatever you want to call them. And I went to London on German Street, and I was there, and I was like, okay, like how much are they? And they're like, they were what, 200 something pounds, so they're $250 American, something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, this is perfect. You know, this is great. But they didn't have my size, so luckily one of their other stores had my size, so I was able to go there and try them on and buy them before I left London on my trip. And I'll drop the article in the chat so people can go check it out. Really old article here. You know, it details exactly what my whole journey is. Obviously, I did look at like Carmina and everything else, and yeah, they are really wow. Look what they look like new. They don't look like this anymore. But yeah, like they were perfect. I mean, they worked really well with the suits that I would wear, with the jeans and everything, and they have kind of like a chisel toe to them.
Mhm.
Which I really liked because again, like it looked more dressy, and they do have a higher ankle profile. Like they just you know they're a higher.
Which you prefer, right?
Now like you know it's odd that I never thought about that. You know, because again, I like a lower vamp. I kind of knew that kind of earlier on, but this one I actually didn't mind. Like you know, because again, I noticed that I don't know if I wrote about it, but I did. You know, obviously I knew that the Drakes or the Alden ones are lower, but for
Mhm.
some reason it just kind of worked for me for my aesthetic. I don't know why this is different, but I tried them on. I like them. Again, it only cost me $250. I got them in the kind of that brown suede. And they did have like a darker brown, like a chocolate one, but like I didn't go for that one. I went with the ones that I got. And they're good. I did also go through a phase where I thought they were too small, so I put like a lot of insole stuff inside them, and then I took them out as I figured out what my correct foot size was. But yeah, they're still good. I still have them. I don't wear them as often because you know, again, like Chukka boots, no matter if they're more because mine again is a little bit dressy. You know, because they're so inoffensive, I don't wear them because it doesn't really portray a specific aesthetic, right? Like, you know, if I wanted to go for like a 70s kick to it, I'd wear Chelsea boots. If I wanted to wear something super casual, I'd wear deck shoes. If I wanted to wear anything else, I'd wear loafers, right? So it's one of those things where I was like, I don't really need them, but I still have them. I wear them when it rains, even though like it's suede, but you know, whatever. The day night sole is pretty okay. They've definitely like lightened up a lot. They've gotten some cool fading. I didn't waterproof them at all because I'm like, you know, these are gonna like for a while they were like my only boot, you
Mhm.
know. And then I got the Commando indie style boot from Alden later on in Shell Cordovan, and that's like my go-to like work boot type of thing. But obviously, I don't want to do all those laces on the Commando boot, so and the version I have, it was like a collaboration or whatever. So mine doesn't have speed lacing, so it's fucking awful to take on and off. So I just throw on like if I'm not gonna wear like Chelsea boots are for like slick stuff. If I'm gonna wear a boot because it's raining, I'll just wear my Chukka boots, and they're cool. Looking at my article, I kind of want to wear them again, especially with like
Yeah.
one of my cotton suits or something like that. But yeah, they're really nice. I mean, I recommended them to like the Spencer for a while, back when the bloke could still order straight from
And I did want to get them, that pair specifically or something like that, because I was like, oh yeah, I also kind of want like a more formal pair. But in retrospect, I am glad that I have the unlined one. I mean, it would be nice. I mean, it's not like a huge priority, so I don't think I'm going to get it anytime in the future, near future. I mean, I don't, but it would be nice to have like a slightly dressier pair. Or, you know, as Kiyoshi said, have one that has just a little bit more support and structure.
Yeah, because
I actually
mean-
like the Loke ones. I think. I wish I
Yeah.
had bought them.
yeah, it's surprising. I mean, I'm not a big I'm not a big fan of the Clark silhouette. I just don't like old, like super rounded toe shoes. It's very like 50s military to me. You know, like
Yeah.
whenever we see like those vintage guys, wearing old military shoes, because I mean people did do that back then. A lot of like workwear guys commissioned shoes from like bootmakers or even from Alden in like special like rounded military lasts.
Mm-hmm.
But I never liked that look to them. I didn't. It doesn't have that kind of edgy appeal. And I think out of all of these, they might be my least edgy shoe. Like compared to like my Aberdeen last shoes and my Chelsea boots and everything. Again, I'm just looking back over at them fondly. But yeah, no, they're nice. I've been trying to get MG to upgrade his Chukka boots too, because his are interesting. They're just really interesting. Because they're not Clark's, right? Yeah, so they're from like Nordstrom House brand ones.